This one has been making the rounds in Michigan this last week and has been building up steam on social media.
All right, we're talking about a possible Bigfoot sighting, and it's caught on camera. You can watch it in this footage. Wait for it. This was taken back in May. It's there. Okay, we're blowing that up. And it's a camera that's set up to watch an eagle's nest not far from Beulah, Michigan. There it is in the background, though. The trees are moving, and then something blurry just walks on by. Most saying the grainy figure is the legendary creature. The video on YouTube has been viewed more than 2 million times. I don't know.
No conclusions?
No, how could you draw a conclusion from that, right? I don't know what that is.
Oklahoma is unique. We're known for big weather, and this upcoming weekend, we will be known for Bigfoot. It's a legend older than all of us. A creature, half man, half ape, walking in the woods. To many, if not most, it seems like a tall tale. But for some, the answer is quite clear.
Lyle, it's Maureen. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Bigfoot is real.
I often, in this research, realize that we may not know everything we think we know about the world around us.
Lyle Blackburn is a cryptozoologist. He studies unknown creatures.
But most people think it's fascinating, you know, and I say, you know, what do you do? I'm a monster hunter, basically. And
Blackburn says he's been fascinated with Bigfoot since he was a kid, and it's this famous video that's been viewed tens of thousands of times on YouTube that has held his fascination.
the biggest and ongoing mysteries of our world are there huge man-like apes walking through our forests, and if there are, how have they managed to remain hidden and unproven thus far?
Blackburn says there have been numerous sightings of Bigfoot in Oklahoma. The Kiamichis and the Ouachita Mountains make it ideal for a creature to remain hidden.
I've been to the Ouachitas and I've been to the areas where these guys have done research over the years, and it's just one of those things where I think just any minute now there's going to be some kind of proof, or at least a better photo coming out of there. I think it's a really good area.
I was still skeptical at the time. I wasn't sure at all if these things existed, not until I had my own sighting.
In January, we aired a story with the North American Wood Ape Conservancy. It's made up of dozens of people, from scientists to veterans, who are continuing to study Bigfoot. They had recently published scientific research on Bigfoot that was all based in Oklahoma.
I put Oklahoma way up at the top of the list of places that could truly be a habitat for an animal like this.
So I have to ask the question, is Bigfoot real or not?
For me personally, obviously I would have to see it in order to give you that final answer, but I think it is a definite possibility.
So is there any truth in the tale? Well, according to Blackburn, we will all soon find out. Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Say the hunt is on for Bigfoot. A Sasquatch researcher is actually investigating multiple sightings in the Stanislaus National Forest.
Yeah, rumors of the mythical beast surround the tourist town of Jamestown, and that's where we sent ABC 10's John Bartell to do some hunting.
Historic Jamestown doesn't take kindly to liars. And there's one topic that customers at Willow Saloon take very seriously. Have you guys seen Bigfoot around here?
Further up, sure.
There's definitely a Bigfoot up here.
It's in the newspaper clippings.
The Bigfoot sightings are so common in this area that Sasquatch has become sort of the unofficial mascot.
A Bigfoot watch?
The most recent sighting was about an hour's drive from Jamestown near Cherry Lake. And that's where Bigfoot researcher Jerry Hine is looking. Jerry's been chasing the elusive animal since the 1970s.
Well, it's a cast I made in Humboldt County.
The Bigfoot Field Research Organization has mapped out a number of sightings in the Sierra Mountain Range.
Okay.
And that's why Jerry built this high-tech van in hopes to catch a snapshot of the animal. Do you think this is the best chance you'll have of actually catching him with all of this equipment?
I think so.
The surveillance equipment inside is enough to make local police departments envious. So this isn't your ordinary camper van. Jerry's got cameras from the front of the van to the back. The van's even equipped with Bigfoot music. Doesn't sound very nice there.
No.
Jerry says he can spend up to 7 days at a time searching the woods for Sasquatch. His last sighting was in 1976 near Angels Camp.
And what I saw was that.
He didn't get a picture of Sasquatch, but that last look was enough to keep him on the road for 40 years. Let me ask you, if you never get that picture, is it gonna matter to you?
No. I've seen him.
What was that?
A man claims to have found the discovery of a lifetime. Todd May was hiking near his home in Utah when he came across a 75-pound object that he claims is the fossilized head of a Bigfoot. Sort of looks like it.
Yeah.
Having an interest in the mythological creature all his life, May claims to have seen at least 2 different creatures that he believes are Bigfoots in the last few years. But after careful examination from geoscientists, it was concluded that the so-called Bigfoot skull was just a highly weathered rock. So his search continues.
We keep looking.
A man claims to have found the discovery of a lifetime. Todd May was hiking near his home in Utah when he came across a 75-pound object that he claims is the fossilized head of a Bigfoot. Sort of looks like it.
Yeah.
Having an interest in the mythological creature all his life, May claims to have seen at least 2 different creatures that he believes are Bigfoots in the last few years. But after careful examination from geoscientists, it was concluded that the so-called Bigfoot skull was just a highly weathered rock.
In tonight's special report, a small town in Colorado is making business out of Bigfoot. Bailey is located in Park County, about 2 hours from Colorado Springs. It's become a hot spot for Bigfoot sightings and is home to the Sasquatch Outpost, which offers all things squatchy. Photojournalist Ray Harless and I were more than curious, so we hopped in the car, took a little drive, and went squatching. Believers say they can be up to 10 feet tall and weigh more than 1,000 pounds. But could a giant creature like that really be lurking in our woods? Bigfoot sightings have been reported across the nation, but one small town in Colorado seems to have more activity than most.
Bailey's becoming known as a Bigfoot hotspot.
Nestled against the Pike National Forest, Bailey is home to about 9,000 residents, tons of wildlife, and potentially dozens of Sasquatches.
He met a local lady who had just had a Bigfoot sighting, and he was so excited because he said, wow, that means they're here.
Jim and Daphne Myers co-own the Sasquatch Outpost in town, home of all things squatchy, including evidence of their existence.
He put this big map up on the wall, and people just started coming in, and they wanted to tell us their sightings and their stories. And I have to admit, I started off as I was just humoring him. And as these people started coming in and telling their stories, I had to say, wow, you really did see this 2-legged hairy creature, and you're not making this up. So I became a believer myself.
This was an imprint of an elk's body we found in the snow. It had been running and it was defecating as it ran, which I don't see very often when I'm hunting. The strange thing was there were no elk prints leaving this site. There were no predator prints, there was no blood, and there was no body, no elk body. And the elk was gone. So we just never know what we're going to find when we go out.
The back of the shop has now been transformed into a Bigfoot museum and a place to let your imagination run wild.
This is a frame from the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot footage. It was filmed in 1967 in Northern California. Still to date is the quintessential Bigfoot sighting. There was no technology in 1967 to create a suit that had breasts that bounced. Even the Academy Award-winning costume designer for the original Planet of the Apes said he could not have made a suit like this. They know she was 7 feet 6 inches tall, and by the impression of her feet in the sand and just the body mass, they estimated she weighed in the realm of 900 pounds.
But if the stories and evidence in the Bigfoot Museum aren't enough to convince you, you can sign up for one of their squatching adventures and head out into the woods to search for your own evidence, which is exactly what photojournalist Ray Harless and I did next. Ray, we're going squatching.
Abby and Ray from Fox 21 News in Colorado Springs, and Daphne is with us, and Kevin Lynn. And we're going to see what activity we can get tonight.
That's a dog.
That's a dog. They hoop, they scream, they talk, they chatter, like you hear people talking in the woods but you can't make out the words. They knock on trees and clack rocks together. And this stick is my tree knocker. So when we get back farther, we'll knock some and see if anybody's out there wants to knock back. Woo! Nobody wants to play yet.
That scared me.
Why don't one of you ladies try a call? See what happens. Why don't you try, Abby?
Whoop.
We've hooped, we've whatever Kevin does, screech howls.
I think Ray meowed once.
Meowed. We've whistled. We've not had any replies so far.
While we didn't have any encounters on our Squatch Watch, others say they have, and not too far from where we were. In late July of this year, Kevin Lynn and a friend set up camp along the Colorado Trail in the Lost Creek Wilderness area.
It started to get dark, and so we decided we needed to try to find a flat area to set up camp and also get a fire going. So we did some calls and some tree knocks that night, and after about I'd say 11 p.m. or so, we kind of settled in and decided to just go ahead and call it a night. Probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning again, we heard loud tree knocks and whooping or calls from some sort of creature or more than one, because we were hearing things from behind our tent as well as out in front of our tent.
This is the actual audio Kevin says he recorded that night.
And the only thing we could figure is they were maybe calling between each other, and they knew we were there. We were actually got to a point where we just couldn't go to sleep again because it was repeated for a few hours.
So is Bigfoot out there?
Give me an hour and an open mind, and I'll convince you.
Do you believe?
It only takes one sighting and you're an instant believer.
Now, about 1/3 of all reports of Bigfoot sightings are located in the Pacific Northwest, but there have been dozens in Colorado, including some coming from right here in El Paso County, as well as on Pikes Peak.
Now, I had heard that movie clip that you have in there with the Sasquatch walking, that was proven wrong.
No. So there is a couple of people that came out saying that they were the guy in the suit, but there was multiple ones, and no one's ever been able to prove that it was a hoax or wasn't a hoax.
Might have been Crick Coffee.
It could have been. But if you want to learn more about the evidence or the Sasquatch post, you can go to our website, Fox 21 News. We've also got a couple of web extras we didn't have time for tonight.